What is up, YouTube? And today we have the long-awaited, much requested fodder video. And basically, I'll be trying to explain how you guys should be using your fodder and what you guys should be doing with it and how to even get fodder as well. Now, it's a pretty complicated video, so if you guys have any questions at any point, you guys can ask in the comments down below. I actually have this video bookmarked, so I'll try to get around to it as soon as I can. Otherwise, if you guys are like veterans of the game or actually know what you're doing as well, try to help out the guys below you because, you know, this game has attracted a lot of new players from different games. So, you know, we just want the community to grow for this game. So, and I know that the community in this game is also very, very kind. So, you know, try to help out the boys or girls if you can. But yeah, basically I'm going to tell you guys the strategies that I employ. It worked for me all the way up to, I don't even know where I'm at right now, Nightmare 2, I guess, which is rank 6 somehow on my server because I rerolled like a day late because my server is not nearly as populated as server 1. But basically, the premise of fodder is when people say fodder, what they actually mean is these 3-star characters. You'll see, like when you see the green backgrounds and below, these are going to be your fodder characters, right? So they start at 3-star, there's even ones that are gray, which are considered fodder, and some that are even 1-star. And the way you get these is by farming through adventure mode. It will drop fodder. In the story event, it doesn't actually drop, so even when people say you should be ruby farming in the story event, keep in mind that it doesn't drop fodder, so you're not going to really be able to get a good supply. And the reason you want fodder is because when you actually repeat battle with ruby farming, what you want to actually do is auto replace these 4 characters and it'll switch in fodder. Now these are the settings that I use. I recommend doing this so that you can actually level up your legendaries that you pull and even your rare characters, which I'll talk about in a bit. But basically by doing this, you will level up these fodder and then it will auto replace them with unleveled ones, or I guess ones that aren't level 30. And the reason why we're doing this is because for multiple reasons. So the first one, ruby farming, right? It's called ruby farming. There's basically a mission where for there is a mission if you go to repeated missions. For the Glorious Adventure, every time you level up a character to level 30, you get 20 rubies. And this will be unlimited and will work for the same characters for unlimited amount of times. So basically, every time that you get a character to 30, you're getting rubies out of it. And this is very good because you're able to farm that fodder to just get rubies back. And in the shop, you're also able to buy this ruby key bundle. And the first 20 will be 50 rubies, and the second 50 will be 80, and then it goes to 100 rubies at the next 50 after this one. So 20 for 50, then it's 50 for 80 rubies, then it's 50 for 100. And usually the first 2 bundles, so the first 70, are going to be worth it for the most part, because the rubies that you put into it, into the keys, which is the energy in this game, you will make back as long as you're farming a high enough stage. For free-to-plays, you can just buy the first 20 boxes, it's going to be fine. But later on, you will want to buy the 50 that you see here for 80 rubies once you get into like Nightmare mode. Now, that's like the first reason you're getting rubies back. Now, what do you do with the ones that you level, right? That's like the biggest question everyone has. It's really easy to just, you know, ruby farm and get a ton of rubies. But what do you do with all of these characters? So basically what you want to do is the level 30 ones at 3-star, like the green ones which you have, you're going to want to enhance these. And the way you want to do this is, one, you can multiple enhance stuff, like multi-enhance, I guess. You can pick like multiple ones, and then if you actually do this, you'll be able to level up multiple things at once, which will make it a lot easier. So I can do like 4, for example. And then you click down here, and then you can auto add. Now, when you auto add, you want to set the settings to do exactly this. This is what I recommend. You want to do 1, 2, 3 stars, and you want to do low star rank first. And you're also going to want to do max level only. Do not do all, because that will actually put in unmaxed, like non-level 30 ones. And even though you can enhance this way, you are losing out on rubies basically because you want to level them first. So basically everything that you're enhancing with, you want it to always be maxed out. This way you'll be able to just get as many rubies as you can and not waste any, and you can still enhance. So basically, some of the ones that you have maxed, you are getting to +5, and some of them you are using for fodder. And if you get enough enhances, you'll get the ones that you used in return, and then basically, you know, or you'll get the ones that weren't used back, is what I'm trying to say. Then after that, what do you want to do? So after you enhance them, you want to fuse them. And the reason why you do this is because when you fuse the same star rank, when they're all level 5, you can't do it without level 5ing it, you will get a character back. And it will either be like a 4-star character that's +0 again, so you'll have to go through the same process and re-enhance them. Or you can see the reason why you're fusing is you can also have a chance to summon legendary characters, even like the really rare ones that are really good. And you'll see that when you get to the higher ranks, you'll get at 5-star fusion, sometimes even the super good ones like Fi and also Rosie, the Knights of the 7 Knights of the Old, right? It says it right here. And these are going to be guaranteed when you fuse 200 5-stars together. But basically, the chance for this is very low. It's kind of like a bonus. What you're going to end up doing most of the time is just fusing, and you'll be getting these 4-star fodders like this. And what you want to do with this is go through the same process and then get to 5 stars and just keep going over and over. So, to do that, I would just level up more 3-star fodder so I can fuse with another one. Or if you already have some, you can see that I have some 4-star fodder already. So I'll just do these 2. You can do the same exact process and you will be able to level them up and get them to +5 for both of them again. And if you fail, you can just do it again and you'll be able to level them up once again. Now, let's say you are just out of fodder and you still want to rank stuff up. And you probably noticed that you have a lot of these rare characters. Now, a lot of these characters will be ending up, being used in a lot of content, but some of them are very bad and you're not going to really use them. Or you'll have them max duped already later on into the game and you won't use them. And in that case, you can actually use these as fodder, and these will be 100% chance to up it as well. And a lot of people don't know this and they're sitting on a lot of these rare characters, but the ones you don't plan to use in the near future even, or the ones that aren't good at all, you're not going to end up using. For example here, Ray is a pretty good character, especially for free-to-play AoE damage, but if you already have Tio, not really required, even though she can be still used. A good candidate for this would be something like Bane. Bane is like not really that great of a character or used anywhere, so because of that, you can easily use her for fodder. But yeah, that's like a big thing. You can actually use this as fodder as well. A lot of people don't know this, and you'll be able to get it up at 100% chance to rank it up, which is very, very important. And if you guys aren't really sure which rare characters aren't used, this is a pretty good resource that you can use. I'll link it down below, but basically it's a reference sheet made by some content creators and the community's opinion. And even though you don't have to trust this like the Bible, because there's some characters that are actually pretty decent that are ranked a bit lower. For example, my last video, I showed you guys the team where I'm using Karin, who's in the A tier all the way down here, who's actually very good for cheesing adventure. You can use some of the lower ranked ones, but you just want to make sure you don't just check the PvE tier list. Make sure you check like the dungeon list, and you also check the raid list if you're very unsure, because some of the ones that are generally not that good, you're going to see are going to have some really good niches, such as Feng Yan, such as Ariel as well, such as Leo in the Dark Particle dungeon especially, and even in the raid tab as well, you'll see that there's going to be, especially the raid characters, you don't want to end up, foddering these on accident. If you are unsure if a character is good or not, just reference the spreadsheet and try to look for them, so you can see, if they're worth foddering or if they're safe foddering or not. Now, once you actually repeat this process over and over for 3 stars and 4 stars, you're eventually going to get to the 5-star characters. And with the 5-star characters, once you +5 it, this is where things get a little bit different. So you'll see you fuse it, and with the 5 stars, like I said earlier, you have a chance to get the Knights of the Old, which are kind of like the really OP characters in this game, for the most part, not always. But if you don't get them, it's fine, because it'll be funny if I got one right here, because you'll get a 6-star fodder, and this is very important. So we did get a 6-star Lania, and every single one you're gonna get is a rare character. And with the 6-star that you get, this is where you have to decide, right? So is this the character you're gonna use? So with Lania, she's okay, right? She's gonna be used in a dungeon specifically, not like a raid or anything, but you're gonna use her as like a freeze immunity character in the water particle dungeon for the most part. But outside of that, you're not gonna really use her. And honestly, I could probably use her to farm with, so I might actually just keep her, but probably not. But in the case that you decide to keep them, sure, just keep her, or keep whatever character you get. It's a free 6-star for your roster, and then you can put dupes onto her. Or what you can end up doing is you can ultimate enhance with them. And ultimate enhancing is what you do to unlock gear slots. So you're going to see that for every 6-star character you fodder now, because technically, you can't fuse this with anything else anymore, you can actually use it as a fodder to unlock one of these gear slots. and you'll need 2 to max out each character to unlock all 4. And you want to do this eventually, especially on your DPS ASAP, because the gear in this game, they go up to 4 sets. So it's pretty important to do, and this is an option if you don't really care about the 6-star that you get. So that's pretty important to know, very important that you always do. Now with the Lania, like I said earlier, if I do decide to use her, you can see that you can actually dupe the character into her. So if I already had like a Lania that I was building, you can see that this one is level 30 plus 5 and is 1 star. You can use that as a dupe, and it'll put 2 dupes into her. And this is very good because, you know, if you're already building something and you end up getting a copy of that character from the fusion, the 5-star fusion, and they end up being 6 stars, you can just put that character you were building into her, and what it'll actually do is it will give you 2 copies of it into her. You can see I gave it 1 copy, so I gave it 1 dupe, and 1 dupe got refunded to me. So it's a very nice QOL feature, so that way I'm able to T3 her right away. And because I'm doing this without even thinking, because I'm recording this video, I guess I'm going to use her in the water particle dungeon now. But, you know, like I said earlier, if you didn't want to do this, you could always just do the ultimate not ultimate transfusion. Makes kind of makes sense, right? But the ultimate enhancement to actually unlock a gear slot. And I really recommend just doing it on your DPS first. On your tanks, it's okay, but not really required. But for your DPS, you can see my Tio got my first ultimate enhancement. He actually got 2 of them, so he got 2 gear slots, which is very important to do on Tio. I think he's like the #1 priority. Then after that, you can start doing your raid DPS. So Espada, I'm going to use in Ox King, and you could even do something for like Shane if you're going to use him in, or use her in what's it called, the Destroyer Gaze, and even Pascal as well for Iron Devourer, which is like, you know, the three big DPS for your raid farming teams. For your tanks and other characters, it's still important to do it on, but they don't really prioritize it because you can just stack them on a lot of health anyways, or like defensive stats, and they shouldn't really die for the most part. But if you're finding that they're dying, what you can end up doing actually is giving them just 1 extra piece of gear first. So my Evan, don't ask why I have 2 weapons, not 2 armors. It should be 2 armors. I literally misclicked. But for Evan, for example, you can give him 2 armors, and even though he won't be activating this 4 set, you're still getting the main stat and the base stats here. So like every piece of gear has like main stat, and like the percent that rolls, or whatever you're rolling for, right? So weapons will always have physical attack, mage weapons or magic weapons will always have magic attack, and then armor will always have defense, HP, and then whatever it rolls into. So for Evan, you definitely want 2 armor, or whatever like frontline you're using that you want to be tankier, because then you can make them tankier without investing too many ultimate enhancement fodders. Even though you're not getting the 4 set bonus, you are getting a ton of base stats, which is very important. I forgot to mention it, but I'll mention it now. You'll be able to get a lot of these from like the exchange shops for gold. You can also get it from like other areas, like probably not arena, not really worth it, but you know, honor and stuff like that if you really wanted to, and even guild shops later on. But you also get them a lot from just doing adventure, and you get a ton more from the nightmare mode because you're farming 2 stages at once. And also a lot of the growth expedition stuff and ruby farming expeditions especially will give you a ton of these. So just by farming, like ruby farming, you'll get them naturally, and you can also buy them out from the shops every day with like gold and stuff like that. But yeah, forgot to mention that, but that's a very important part as well if people are running out of fodder. So you definitely want to do that. Now, just to summarize very quickly and very simply, you are ruby farming with your fodder, low levels, getting them to max level. That way you're getting 20 gems for every one you get to level 30. And then for materials, what you're going to do is only use max leveled characters. Otherwise, you're just losing out on ruby. So don't do like these level 1s right here. Like, for example, don't do stuff like this. This is really bad. You're losing out on 20 rubies for every single one you do. So you want to keep that in mind. And then after that, once you do that, what you want to end up doing is fusing your 3-star level 30 plus 5 fodder together in the fusion menu, get them to 4-star, then you repeat the process again, get them to 4-star plus 5 in this window, then you fuse them to 5-star, and then you're going to enhance them once again at 5 stars to plus 5, and then you'll fuse 2 5-star plus 5 together again, and either get a summon for a character at that point that's really good. that you need, or you're going to actually just use it as ultimate enhancement materials to unlock more gear slots for your characters. So yeah, pretty complicated. I tried to make it as simple as possible that I can. That's pretty much it for the most part. Like I mentioned earlier, there's going to be some rare units you can just straight up use that as fodder once you get them to level 30. You don't want to do it at level 1 for the rare characters either, because you still get 20 gems, but by setting up your auto farming to prioritize the higher level characters, these will always get bumped up to level 30 ASAP, and then you can decide if you are not going to dupe them together to use on your farm teams and stuff like that, if you want to use them as fodder for your characters, because these give a ton of enhancement as well. But yeah, pretty much it for this video. Wanted to make it as simple as possible, but it might be still complicated. But like I said, let me know in the comments down below, and me or anyone else that actually knows about how to do fusion pretty well will be able to help you out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.